5 seconds. Start. Sir, I would like to draw attention to some aspects of the export policy and the strategy. We all know that our exportable surplus is only a very small part of our gross national product, roughly of the order of 5 to 6%. We know that international trade is a function of international interdependence. No doubt, basically, we produce for our own consumption, but whatever we have a natural advantage, we have to tap it to build exportable surpluses so that then we can earn the necessary foreign exchange for meeting our essential requirements. The essential policy that we have followed is correct. I see nothing wrong to fight against. The policy of export promotion and import substitution must remain our policy. But it seems in actual implementation we have failed on both fronts. Our share of the world trade has come down from roughly 1% about 2 decades ago to less than half a percent in 1984. We remain primarily an exporter or primary products deposit all the noise we make about non traditional items. Tea, jute, iron ore, rice, spices, cashew nut are our mainstay. We have probably the only exception among the major items textiles, leather, if you can call it an industrial product. We hear so much about engineering goods. Our export of engineering goods account for less than 1% of the total world trade in engineering exports 20 years after we made our first engineering export to the United States sometime in 1967. I think this needs to be improved. I have therefore a few suggestions to make. I feel that our markets must be diversified and so should be our sources of supply. We should think of markets nearer home in our close vicinity in Africa, West Asia, in Southeast Asia, and one way of doing it will be to build mutually beneficial relationship ties of interdependence. Secondly, there are a number of items in which greater efforts have to be put in order to organize the producers and exporters. And I think a little bit of a beginning was made in the case of jutes. We can do a better collective bargaining with our buyers and we can have more favorable terms of trade, better international marketing than we are having today. Thirdly, naturally we have to add to our value adding capacity. From iron ore we are going to Palestinian, but why cannot we go to iron and steel? After all, for a country of ours, dimensions of our resources 5 to 6 million tons of steel is peanuts. I just mentioned leather. From leather, we have moved to on to leather goods to shoes, etc. We must diversify our exports because if we want to have a non traditional market for non traditional goods, we have to adopt a policy of natural self denial. You cannot run foreign trade in terms of red and green signals. If you want to cultivate a foreign market, you have to service it. You have to see to it that we do not fall when there is scarcity. But we have also to see that we do not fail internally as well as externally. For this, we have to build up buffer stock. Mr. Vice Chairman, I know that the Commerce Ministry will say that all these need to be done. I can do a very good job of buying and selling, but where are the things to sell? Therefore, surely production comes first. Production both primary and secondary. The constraints coming in the way of production have got to be removed so that the installed capacity can be fully utilized. And as my distinguished colleague has said, productivity has to be improved. For that, what is required is to whip up your infrastructure. There are transport bottlenecks in both rail and road. There are ports which simply cannot handle our import and export trade. There are ports which foreign liners refuse to touch because the turnaround period is so high. I know shipping is the problem. There are many reasons with which we do not have direct shipping. There is always the problem of whether you first develop your export trade and then establish a shipping link, or first have the shipping link and then develop export trade. There is also the question of adequate banking and insurance facilities with a number of developing countries. We do not have such facilities. Such facilities they have been by and large monopolized by the developed countries. Finally, at home, we ought to have better market intelligence and better communication facilities and perhaps more efficient methods of customs inspection. These are some of the other bottlenecks. I would like the Commerce Ministry to fight against these bottlenecks and all other constraints for their removal. Unless we take some stringent measures, we will not be in a position to achieve much in this direction. It is indeed a matter of grave concern that we are thinking of all these things after 60 years of independence. Thank you.